YouTube. You already know Big Lou tapping back in. One more game. What it do? Big Lou NFCR 2. Baby. So, here we go. We got the MAGA, Ultra MAGA, Cronies, Ultra MAGA minions showing up in New York, Manhattan, right? For the what they call the hush money case, but it's more business fraud to cover up election interference case. That's what it really is. Okay. Here we got. I don't know if you guys could tell from the thumbnail who those people are, but I had to put little emojis over their faces that I feel fits them best. So you got Bergam there. You got the congressman from Florida. I can't think of his name. He's the shortest one in the picture to the right. You got MAGA Mike Johnson right there in the middle with the clown over his face. You got Jason Miller in the back, which is he's part of the campaign, and he's been there. This is his third campaign. He's been involved with Donald Trump. He's a good lying mofo too, right? Uh, it's just real clownish. It's you got the governor of North Dakota, Bergam, okay, but he's also he's also on the short list for Donald Trump's short list to be his running mate, his vice president, his VP, right? So he's a governor. So that's a little bit different in my opinion. But you got Congress people there, right? You got people from the House of Representatives. I don't know if you guys heard this, but recently Representative Troy Niels out of Texas said that. And by the way, he was wearing a Donald Trump tie on, like a straight sycophant. You know what I mean? Wearing his tie, talking about that we have to, the House, the Congress, the House representative has to do all we can. Actually, I think he said Congress, that we have to do all we can to get Donald Trump reelected. It's like it's a joke, right? It's a joke because, and the reason why I say that because they represent a co-equal branch of government. They are there to keep the president somewhat in check. Like in other words, not not to keep him in check, but the check and balances. So yeah, in a sense, keeps him in check. But the checks and balances, a co-equal branch of government, right? A branch of government. You got 100 members in the Senate chamber. You got 435 members in the House of Representatives. That's 535 members total. Okay, then you got the Supreme Court. That's another branch with 9 members. And then you got, of course, the executive branch, which is the president, and then the vice president, right? So they're all there on his behalf. They don't work for the president, even though they got things twisted, and they are, and they do and are identified as MAGA, right? MAGA Republicans. Okay, they work for the people. So if these districts that they come out of, if these people ain't telling them we want you to fight for Donald Trump, then that's not what their constituents want. They're doing their own personal bidding for Donald Trump. And then of course they get up there and lie, right? This is the second day that you had multiple people of Congress and people in other positions of government show up on his behalf when his own family don't even show up. Well, his son Eric showed up a couple. I think Eric showed up today too. So this is his third time he's been there now. Um, you got MAGA Mike Johnson gets up there and says that this is a judge that's donated to Biden and his daughter is making millions of dollars on the internet on behalf of Democrats, and but that's her making the money, not her dad, and her dad is not conflicted. Matter of fact, he's ruled in favor for Donald Trump many times here. Uh, on motions, on evidential, things that could be brought up, things that could be questioned, certain witnesses. You know what I'm saying? He was ahead of the game because what ended up happening was the New York case for Harvey Weinstein I believe it was granted a new trial because the judge over that trial let too much stuff in that the the Court of Appeals in New York believes that it tainted the jury because of all the stuff that was allowed in to be said about Harvey Weinstein. And in this case, Judge Marchand didn't allow just anything that the prosecution wanted to bring in. he stopped a lot of things because he said those things have nothing to do with the charges here. So he was being fair, and he has been fair. But of course, these so-called alpha males over there on the supposedly the right side of politics are alpha males, and they're strong men and blah blah blah. But really, they're just crybabies. Whiny little crybabies that are complaining about poor me and poor him and poor us. You know what I'm saying? That's all they do. Meanwhile, they're not passing nothing in Congress, but renaming some freaking mail post offices, trying to rename a Miami airport after Donald Dump, right? And they're trying to in the House. They're trying to, liberty for laundry and freedom from my fridge and all this stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? That ain't being are not in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? To be taken from us Americans. You know what I'm saying? They've showed they can't chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. They're just this current Congress. I believe it's the 118th Congress, or it might be the 119th Congress. They are a joke, right? The GOP led ultra MAGA GOP is a joke. Mike Johnson says that, like I said, he said that the judge is um, donated to Biden's campaign, or to Biden. His daughter is making millions off of organization that work with Democrats. Uh, the lead prosecutor came from the DOJ to work for the DA of Manhattan, which that type of stuff happens all the time, right? And then they want to use this. Oh, it's lawfare. But really, what the lawfare is Moscow Marjorie trying to give ultimatums to MAGA Mike Johnson about he needs to defund Jack Smith, and he needs to defund this agency and that agency and this institution and that institution, right? Because of them looking into Donald Dump. That's lawfare, right? And we all know that he's tried to sue people when he was as president. You know what I'm saying? It just everything. The only time these people are about law and order is when it doesn't pertain to them, but everybody else is law and order, and we all know that I can't even think. What's that dude's name? Swami? I don't Rami. I don't even know his name. The Indian dude, the one that what's her name? Oh man, I can't even think of the lady's name. The blonde hair lady. One's real racist. She said, "Well, I wouldn't even vote for you anyways because you're Indian." He just sat there and just took it. You know what I'm saying? He gets over there and he's running his mouth and, oh, this was Joe Biden's son and da-da-da. Like, come on, man. You know damn well this was the other way around. Look what they're doing to Joe Biden now. 15 months of investigation, they found diddly squat, right? But now they're gonna try to impeach him now because he's withholding uh, heavy weaponry to Israel, because Israel wants to just keep going forward with decimating, people's areas and killing so many women and children, when they could be, they could be weeding out these Hamas guys a lot easier, a lot better than what they're doing. It's just being sloppy. It's just being sloppy and, just willing to just take out a whole race of people. And I'm not saying that what happened on October 7th is some nice event. I'm not saying anything like that, but you shouldn't just be able to go wipe people out. That's why there's international law and all that. And to say that, oh, Joe Biden, we're going to impeach him, this and that. This is our only legit, real ally in the Middle East, and he's not the first one. Ronald Reagan did it. George H.W. Bush did it. You know what I'm saying? I think they even said Jimmy Carter did something. Obama, I think Obama did a little something too. So it seems like it's only okay when the Republican presidents do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bunch of garbage, man. Where's the crime? Where's the crime? There's no crime. Oh yeah, there's no crime. They're just gonna waste a whole bunch of money to take him in, and try to prosecute him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh well, he was indicted by what you call it, grand jury, because everybody knows that you can indict a ham sandwich in a grand jury session. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you're in court and state level, anybody that's here in California, when you go to your prelim trial and it's over, the judge is never going to, even if there's obvious evidence that says otherwise, the judge is never going to step in and just say, "Oh, you know what? I don't believe from what I heard that this, that is you should guys should go further charging the defendant with this, that, or that." No, he's going to go ahead and let it slide all through to the Superior Court and continue from there. And then hopefully you got a good attorney there if you're not guilty of what they're charging you of to fight for you, fight for you, correctly and right, full force. You know what I'm saying? So like I've been saying, man, I don't expect these courts to like change anything. Donald Trump needs to be beat at the ballot box. We need to vote blue up and down the ticket to ensure he never returns back to the Oval Office. My God, can you imagine? And I'm not going to touch on that on this video because it's too much, and I want to make sure that it's broke down for everybody to understand fully, right? And he's a real life piece of mierda, real life piece of poop, right? And he proves it every day with his evil, hateful speech that spews out of his disgusting pothole of a mouth, right? And we need to make sure we vote to make sure he never returns, and we need to vote in the upcoming voting cycles. If it's not their turn this year, any MAGA members or ultra MAGA members need to be voted out because we got to stop them from trying to take us back 160 years plus, 100 years plus, 70 years plus. They want to take us. They want to roll back a bunch of voter rights act from years ago, from the 60s. They want to roll it back that women can't vote. They want to roll it back that, you know, before even some of these states were states, that you can't do this, you can't do that. They want to monitor a woman's pregnancy. What kind of shit is that? Where are we going with this? You know what I'm saying? It's disgusting, man. It's not of God, that's for sure. None of this is of God. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like the fact that people are twisting the word of God for a different narrative that's not existent in the Bible, as far as treating your neighbors. And what I mean by your neighbors is our neighboring countries that want to come here, but then you want to call them like they're animals and they're not human and they're the brown menace. You know what I'm saying? They're taking our jobs. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's no policy that this guy got. Only thing he's talked about thus far is in the Time magazine thing where he wants to take whatever, how many ever people it is, 10 million to 15 million people, round them all up, put massive deportation camps, and then shoot them out of here, right? Which would destroy our economy, right? Because these people are hardworking people that are coming here to work these hard jobs, these dirty jobs, in some cases, because us Americans don't want to work them jobs, right? So this dummy right here, because he's not smart at all. I don't know. He thinks he's so smart. He's not smart at all. Just like what he did with the farmers, he will do that to the economy again. He ran the economy last time in the dirt. And of course, the corona wasn't his fault, but the way he handled it as a leader definitely was his fault. Definitely was his fault. You know what I'm saying? He always wants to brag about, a black and Latino unemployment rate. So when he went out of office, the unemployment rate was like almost 17% for blacks and Latinos, right? This dude inherited a decent economy that was pushing forward and was going to get better and better with time, like it did under Obama, and he inherited it, which Obama inherited crap from George W. Bush. And then guess what? Joe Biden inherits another crappy economy from Donald Trump. He's not Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to poop, right? Old Poopaloop Don, right? Old Smelly Don, Diaper Don, not Dapper Don, but Diaper Don, right? And Joe Biden, just like when he was running for president, and he made the comments during the debates that I don't remember. I can't tell you what organization it was, if it was a magazine or if it was a article in the magazine, but it was an organization that said that with Joe Biden's plans to turn things around for the United States, that it was going to work. And of course, like with everything, when you start implementing change, it takes a minute to catch up. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny how everybody seems to forget when that question is asked, are you better today than you were 4 years ago? I mean, how do you even ask that question? It don't even make sense to ask that question when 4 years ago to the day, it was a ghost town. Everything was on lockdown. Nobody was there. Everybody lost their jobs. So not only did Donald Trump, like Hoover from back in the Great Depression days, going in the office with him with an X amount of jobs, but leave with less than when he went in, right? And that's a fact. So it doesn't matter what happens. You're the president. It's on your watch. So if it happened to Joe Biden or Obama or Clinton, it would have been on them. You know what I'm saying? But everybody wants to twist it and put old Donald Dump up there like he's some national treasure or something. And even he's Nelson Mandela. Like, are you freaking kidding me? And then the other one, he's like, oh, he's a chosen one. The chosen one, huh? Adjudicated sexual assaulter that talks about his daughter in a disgusting manner, a sexual manner, right? Somebody that not only did he say it in the Access Hollywood tapes, right? Which is supposedly, oh, that's locker room talk. Hey, I've been in a lot of locker rooms. I ain't never heard no dudes talking like that. And if they, and I can tell you this, if they were talking like that, they're all in on it, and they're all pieces of, you know what, right? But tell me why when he in his deposition for the E.G. Carroll civil case, when they read back his words, he said, instead of him saying, well, it was just locker room talk, he said, well, fortunately, that's the way it is. When you're a star, you can do what you want. Fortunately and unfortunately, sometimes, he says, right? So he didn't deny it, right? So he's scum. He's a scum. He's a con man. He's a grifter. He's a fraudster. You know what I'm saying? He's not a good businessman. Nothing about him is good, perfect, great. He's not a good golfer. He has to cheat and manipulate on all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. And I got some boxing videos I'm probably gonna come up with shortly here. But Big Lou's gone.